Things started to change after Mark Consuelos became the new co-host of Live with Kelly and Mark last year. But is he being fired from the program? After a strange turn of events this week, he seems a little unsure. Stump Mark Games segment and Mark Consuelos. The trivia games segment was one of the first changes made to the show once Kelly Ripa's husband was confirmed as a new co-host. In the past, Kelly and Ryan Seacrest distributed t-shirts and mugs at random. But the name was changed to Stump Mark, and presents had to be earned. Because he rushed off the set after Jane Krakowski beat him twice at the game, a lot of people think he's a poor loser. Another unpleasant encounter occurred when Lisa Wickersham, a rather strange competitor, declined to respond to inquiries from Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. Then something else occurred this week, though it was a little different. It happened after he declared his intention to keep making remarks on sports, which drew in more male viewers. Fans of Live with Kelly and Mark see Mark getting a little angry. Cancelled? This week's competitor in the customary Stump Mark portion was from Pennsylvania. Kelly's husband had to accurately determine which of Sarah Gafkin's two comments was false. Asking questions was necessary to get the right responses. She asserted, Sarah appeared happy to be on the live program, and everything got off to a lovely start. She was asked to sing about Kelly by Mark Consuelos. Interestingly, it had to do with her suffering a broken hip. Kelly Ripa was taken aback by it, but the competitor managed to pull it off. She sang, the strange portion, according to Monsters and Critics, was when Mark Consuelos instructed the competitor to sing, I'm sorry your cat is dead. But she sounded surprised and declined. Thus, the co-host of Live with Kelly and Mark was quite confused. Is today the day? He asked his wife, turning to face her. Am I going to be cancelled today? The ABC anchor reassured Mark that he would not lose his job, which was fantastic news. He then told Sarah that he believed she was sandbagging him since she was very dramatic in her picture. The ABC star concluded that she did have a job singing telegrams, in spite of the unpleasant situation. Sarah concurred that his guess was correct. Naturally, since Mark Consuelos enjoys winning at Stump Mark, that made me smile again. How do you feel about Mark Consuelos speculating on his chances of being fired from the ABC program? Do you enjoy the oddball moments in the Stump Mark Games segment? The rumor mill has been doing somersaults. Whispers, social media murmurs, speculative headlines. Is Mark Consuelos being cancelled from live? The very phrasing suggests a dramatic downfall, a swift removal, a moral reckoning, the cancellation of a star. But when you zoom out and examine the facts, the picture becomes far more complex, messy, human, and ultimately far less sensational than the headlines. The cult of cancel culture and its shadows. First, it helps to unpack the idea of being canceled. In the age of social media, canceling someone doesn't always mean a legal ouster or a contract termination. It can mean public pressure, reputation damage, loss of sponsorship, or removal from a platform. Yet often the narrative is exaggerated. Stories spiral from a tweet to a headline without full verification. When people ask if Mark is being canceled, the assumption is that something scandalous has happened, that the network is shunning him, or that producers have decided to quietly phase him out. But none of that seems supported by the evidence, at least not so far. What the public records show. Let's look at what is verifiable. Mark Consuelos became an official co-host of Live with Kelly and Mark in April 2023, following Ryan Seacrest's departure. The show itself has not been canceled. Rather, it recently relocated its studio from its longtime Upper West Side location to a new facility downtown in New York. There have been occasions when Mark has been absent from the show, for example, recently while filming a project in Los Angeles. During one Stump Mark segment, Mark even jokingly questioned how long he might remain on the show, voicing his own insecurities. Taken together, these points suggest that Mark is still a core part of Live. and there is no clear corporate or creative action to remove him. The anatomy of a rumor. Why would people begin to believe he was being canceled? A few dynamics might be at play. Absence plus speculation. When a co-host misses multiple shows, audiences naturally wonder, is he gone? The absence becomes the canvas for imagination. Social media momentum. One tweet or one opinion piece can snowball. Once a narrative takes hold, Mark is being canceled. Others echo it, often without verification. Self-doubt as drama. Celebrities sometimes voice their own insecurities. Mark's comment during Stump Mark, "How long will I last?" makes for a juicy headline when taken out of context. The allure of conflict. The media often gravitates to tension and crisis. A benign programming change or host absence is less sexy than a drama about a star being canceled. Why it's unlikely he's being canceled. If you weigh the evidence, it becomes hard to justify that Mark is being canceled. Here are a few counterarguments. No public statement, no decision. When networks remove or demote high-profile talent, there is usually a public notice, contract negotiation, or press release. No such statement has surfaced about Mark. The show continues with him. If Mark were being canceled, one would expect promotional changes, new permanent hosts lined up, or rapidly shifting show format. That doesn't seem to be happening. Absences are explainable. Filming in LA, travel disruptions, scheduling conflicts. These are typical in Hollywood life. They don't necessarily signal a purge. Expressions of insecurity aren't proof. Many performers publicly question their longevity or relevance. That's part of the human side of fame, not necessarily evidence of termination. A creative reflection. When life feels like live. Let's imagine, for a moment, a mini-scene, blending fact and fiction, that captures how this narrative might feel from Mark's perspective. Mark arrives early on set one morning. The lights hum, the cameras are in place, the makeup team flurries. He steps into the green room, glances at his phone. Chatter online about Mark's mysterious absence. Cancel culture. Who's next? He shakes it off, puts on a smile. During host chat, he glances at Kelly. They riff about weekend plans, the new studio, the move. Then halfway through Stump Mark, a caller asks, "Do you ever worry they'll drop you from the show?" The question lands in the studio like a thrown ball. Mark pauses, laughs, tries to deflect. But the seed is planted. He answers lightly, "That thought crosses my mind sometimes." Out on social media, someone clips that moment. The edit renders his hesitation longer. A headline reads, "Mark admits he's worried he'll be dumped." Replies, retweets, takes. The rumor leaps. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Mark is reading scripts for a guest role in Lay, juggling contracts, working with producers. No one is whispering fire him. No one's calling HR. It's just a wild swirl of perception and publicity. The real risk: identity, perception, and vulnerability. Even if Mark is not being canceled, the rumor is not harmless. It reveals something deeper. In our celebrity economy, even stability is fragile. A passing comment becomes a headline. Absence becomes a narrative vacuum. And the person in the center, the public figure, becomes vulnerable to the interpretations and projections of others. One might imagine Mark going home and thinking, "Do they still value me? Are they phasing me out slowly? Am I dispensable?" Those are the kinds of emotional reverberations that rumors and narratives can spark, even without any official shift. In truth, the rumor of cancellation is, ironically, its own kind of cancellation, a narrative erasure of nuance. It flattens all complexity into a saddening trajectory. He must be going down. Rather than allowing for the messiness of creative work, shifting priorities, human scheduling, and public perception. Conclusion: no, probably not canceled, but the story matters. So is Mark Consuelos being canceled from Live? Based on the public record, there is no credible evidence he is being ousted. The show continues with him as a key host. Absences have reasonable explanations: other work, travel, filming tasks. His own remarks of insecurity are likely personal, not clues to a major behind-doors decision. That said, the rumor is potent. It reflects the anxieties that swirl around modern celebrity, the hunger for conflict in media, and how quickly perception can outpace reality. In the showbiz ecosystem, the most powerful currency may be the story people tell about you, even more than the contracts you sign. The rumor of being canceled carries weight precisely because it touches on fear, the fear of being replaced, forgotten, made irrelevant. If you like, I can dig deeper. Try to find sourcing from producers, network insiders, or statements from Mark himself to see if there is any smoke behind the fire. Do you want me to pursue that?